to heat up your frozen dinners, grab your TV tray, and settle in for another episode of the Plus Platoon, your podcast for all things Disney Plus, brought to you by Disney Plus fans. Watch along with us every week as we cover all the new, the old, the good, and the bad on Disney Plus. So put down that remote, don't touch that dial, and welcome your fabulous Plus Platoon host.
Hey everyone, my name's Derek, and we are the Plus Platoon. We're a Disney Plus fan podcast that gives honest, spoiler-filled reviews of movies and shows on Disney Plus. We look at new releases, coming attractions, and we'll even go back into the vault to revisit some of the classic Disney that's on the platform. Make sure you're subscribed, and you will never miss a moment. I'm going to bring in my girl, Kate. Kate, how's it going this evening?
Oh, it's going so good. Another Tuesday with my tuners. I'm here for it.
Yeah. Awesome. And tonight we've got Pete. Pete, how's it going?
Hey, it's going really good. I can't wait to talk about Free Guy.
Yeah, it should be real interesting.
Yeah.
And it's the three of us tonight. So please, guys,
That's
if you're that's it. Well, I won't say it's just the three of us because
It's the
we've got
three of us.
It's the
Yeah.
three of us.
Just the three of us. Wait, that's
Three's
not right. It's the
company
two.
too.
There you go.
Three is a magic number.
Oh, good one, Pete. That was good.
One is the no, that doesn't work either.
That doesn't work.
So, and we've got Steve joining us. Hey, Steve. Yeah, let us know, guys, if you're here watching along. Please make sure you are like, subscribe, share, get this out there. Yeah, going to be a lot of fun tonight. We've got, though, as we usually do, we've got the Disney Plus news. Kate, what do we got this evening?
Yes, it's time for the Disney Plus news. All right, so first up, the new Disney Plus movie Better Nate Than Ever released a trailer this week. It follows Nate and his best friend Libby as they journey to New York to audition for Lilo and Stitch the musical. The movie premieres April 1st. We'll see. Mixed emotions about that. We'll see. I'll
Please no Lilo and Stitch the musical. Please no Lilo and Stitch the
I know
musical.
that's
Well,
like
it's okay in another show.
sure.
But yeah, no.
We'll
No,
get
yeah.
there. And I'm glad you pulled everybody up because I want to talk about this next one. Our final thing for Disney Plus news is the biggest news this week is that beginning March 16th, parents will be asked to select age restrictions backed up by a pin to control the content on the profiles of kids. This will apply to TV 14 and TVMA or mature audiences shows and must be done on all profiles in an account before the more restricted shows may be viewed. This allows more mature This allows the more mature Marvel shows from Netflix to be on Disney beginning March 16th. And this is funny because this is actually something I was going to bring up while talking about Free Guy, is that it surprised me a little bit that they brought this movie to Disney Plus. I liked it, and we can talk about that, but I'm glad that they are adding this.
Are you going language and violence, or what was the surprise on
language
that?
and violence?
Okay.
Language was the one that surprised me. So
Okay, because it was PG-13? Is that
Yeah.
right?
It was definitely
it
not
wasn't
R.
R. It was PG-13, but it's.
Well, I didn't know if it was PG.
I think it was
No, it's
PG-13.
I think it was PG.
PG-13.
It would very much
Okay.
surprise me if it was only PG because they said some words
They said a lot of them.
and some gestures.
Yes, the gestures. Yeah, the gestures would have made it 13. They didn't say the big one.
Correct.
But
No.
so
Because doesn't that automatically make it an R-rated movie?
No, they can do one in a PG.
PG-13, you can have a 1.
Okay.
So
But
Good to know.
that's why Hamilton was still able to have that one big partial 1 and still not have to have language issues.
So I wonder if this also has anything to do with Moon Knight, though, because I mean, I know they're bringing the Netflix shows in, which were very, very violent, and so I think it's appropriate for that. But it also makes me wonder about Moon Knight, because Moon Knight is supposed to be
I
a
bet it's
little
going to be very
more,
violent.
yeah. So I wonder if they were thinking of doing something like this anyways, and it just was, they used the excuse for it for the Netflix shows. But that's good news that the Netflix that those shows are on there, because while they're varying in quality, some of them are really worth watching. So, it's
Daredevil.
yeah,
Watch Daredevil.
yeah.
It's so good.
Would I like it?
Yes. I think
Okay.
so. Yes.
Okay.
It's the
Well-
storyline is great. The acting is great. The villain is fantastic.
There's
I
some
think-
really good stuff in there. I think it's very slow moving.
In
Okay.
Daredevil?
I think the series itself, I mean, there's some great stuff in there. Some of the action set pieces, and what's his name? Kingpin, Vincent
Yeah.
D'Onofrio is great.
Oh, he's so
Um,
good.
But the show's not fast paced. Let's put it that way.
It is. It has its moments where it drags a little, but
Yeah.
it doesn't drag nearly as much as Luke Cage or Jessica Jones.
Well, I
I
didn't see
think-
those, so I didn't.
Oh, they're also great, but Daredevil
Yeah.
is by far superior. Anyway,
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll have to see how Moon Knight goes, because it's going to be interesting because I'll be perfectly honest, if it's too violent, that's going to be a complete turnoff for me. Like if it goes to the rated R violence levels,
I don't think it's going to do that.
will they try and keep, will they go MA, or will they try and keep it 14?
No, I think they'll keep it 14, but I'm thinking it's going to push a little more than the previous Marvel shows did, in terms of maybe a little more of a brutal,
Okay.
some more brutal fights is all I'm thinking.
Okay.
are they going to have they talked about bringing the Punisher to Disney Plus? Because that one would be where I would say
Yeah, they're bringing all of them.
It's going to be on there.
It's all of them, including
the
Punisher. Yeah.
is it's a tough watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then that'll be a no for me.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we'll have to see how Moon Knight goes. Well, as you saw, and the blue shirt guy in Free City at the
Oh,
moment,
I didn't even. I wore a green shirt.
we are reviewing Free Guy. It's the Ryan Reynolds vehicle that came out this last Friday, and I'm going to start with Pete. Pete, did Free Guy win the game?
So for me, I would say yes. I enjoyed the movie. I did not think it was a great film, but I really did enjoy. I enjoyed it as what it is, which is basically entertainment. It's it's basically for those that play video games or don't play video games. Ryan Reynolds is playing a character in a video game that's called an NPC. It's basically not a player or non-player character is what NPC stands for. I don't know if they explain that or not, but so he's basically just one of these people that stands in the background when you're playing a video game, and kind of doesn't really have much of a role. And he ends up, for various reasons, kind of realizing who he is and developing a personality and all these things. And at the same time, there's this plot about
we're gonna
Yeah, we need to pull Pete. We need to drop Pete down because apparently his cat has unplugged his microphone
Oh
again.
no.
So, Pete, we'll come back to you if your mic's not working at the moment. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and move on to me. So last few weeks, for the most part, I have.
all right, I think I'm back, but
You
I'll
are back.
Go ahead, Pete.
So, lately been fairly positive about most of the movies we're watching. That ends today. This
Wow.
totally lost the game. Were there a few moments of humor? Yes. The 45 seconds between when Cap Shield shows up and Chris Evans and the lightsaber was phenomenal. That 45 seconds does not a good movie make.
Wow.
It tries to be the Truman Show for a current generation with zero heart. But I mean, all the way to the exodus through the ocean. I mean, they went that way with it. Even I did not connect with any of the characters. definitely didn't buy the emotional angst of any of the NPCs, the in-game characters. Who were we supposed to connect with? Were we supposed to connect with Guy, the programmers, Buddy the cop? I mean, to paraphrase Billy Madison, the writers not only got this wrong, but at no time did they make the audience feel anything for the characters or explain why this had to be made. I award them a very low rating, and may God have mercy on their souls.
Wow.
Ouch.
Kate?
Dang. All right. I'll follow that up. So it's so funny to me that you mentioned The Truman Show, because I love The Truman Show. Truman Show is in my top 15 movies of all time, top 10 movies of all time. And I am not a huge Jim Carrey fan, and I love The Truman Show, which I think is part of the reason why I didn't mind this movie. I am also a humongous Taika Waititi fan. If for those of you who don't know, he was the director of Thor Ragnarok, which we're gonna watch at some point because Derek picked that one. Taika Waititi his comedy is brilliant. It is he makes me laugh every time he's on the screen. So I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again and again and again? Probably not. Derek, you made a really, really good point just now that I hadn't thought about, but it kind of made everything click in my head, that I didn't know who to root for. Do I root for Keys? Do I root for, like, who am I rooting for here?
And
Who
they
am
try
I-
and force it at the end. They try and force the romantic thing at the end that was telegraphed completely,
Yeah,
but you didn't really care that they you weren't rooting for them to get together.
right.
There was nothing
Right.
there.
And I will say, and you can grab this from the comments, Mary Tracy said, I didn't even love The Truman Show, and I totally love this one. This is something that I love so much about this podcast, is that so many of us have so many differing, like, oh my gosh, but I loved it because of this. I hated it because of this. So Mary, I'm so glad you said that. And Derek, you said the same thing, that, like, you know, I just wanted to throw that out there. This is partly why I love this podcast so much, is because we're all coming from different. Mary says Derek has no heart. Well, you know.
Well, no.
Can you
I
guys
have a
hear me
heart.
now?
Yes, we can hear you now,
Okay.
Pete. So I have a heart. I know some people who would claim I don't have a brain, or no. Anyway,
No.
The nerve.
yeah, the nerve.
So
They only had the
overall,
noive.
overall, I liked it. I thought it was creative, especially for a generation, this upcoming generation that's been raised in virtual and been raised with NPCs and or non-playable characters. And yeah, I think Derek, you hit the nail on the head when you said it's the Truman Show of our time. So Pete, did you have something you want to add?
I definitely, I apologize for getting cut off. I'm not sure what caused that, but I did want to say I'm probably I'm more on Team Kate here. I did enjoy it quite a bit. I thought parts of it were very funny. I was entertained well enough. I think some of Derek's points are very good. I thought, like, I didn't really get invested in any of the characters, whereas Truman Show, which is very apt comparison here, you got really invested in Truman. They managed to get you really invested in that character. Maybe because the bad guy here was kind of a bit of a cartoon, and he was really threatening was the person that wasn't really real. But it didn't feel very high stakes particularly, but I did enjoy it. I guess I got a kick because, like, some of the cameos, you like have to actually know gamers and everything like that, and I only know these people because of my
says totally got it all. Her daughter Katie knew the real gamer cameos. So
yeah, I did too, just because of my daughter, and I wasn't watching it with her, but then afterwards I was like, oh, you got to watch this because so and so's on it and so and so's on it. So I mean, my wife and I were talking about it, and it's like we liked it. We would probably recommend it, but I'm not sure that I would watch it again. So yeah. I guess that puts it at that level, which I will get to when I do my ratings.
Okay. Gina says she enjoyed it. Was a little long for her non-gamer brain. To me, cut this down so it's an hour-and-a-half TV show, so it really runs like 70 minutes, and may have held my attention a little bit longer because I was already looking at, okay, we're how far into this, and it's only been 10 minutes. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, at 10 minutes, I was hoping we were half an hour in. I mean, that's how much because first 10 minutes, it's not much is happening at all because there's no character development at all. And it's just one of those, yeah, I like my life. You ever wonder what's going on? No, I don't. But anyway, so Steve says it was just okay. Thought it was predictable. Steve, incredibly predictable. A one and done for her. As Mary says, it was, Mom, stop vacuuming. Yes, the guy who lived at home with his mother was phenomenal.
Very funny. That was
very
very
funny.
funny.
Well, and the last joke he made was incredibly inappropriate. Incredibly inappropriate, but funny. So,
but then to have that actor be portrayed as Channing Tatum, like just
right.
Yes.
Also, and I know this was, you know how sometimes it's the lines that are like so throwaway that make you laugh the hardest. When Taika Waititi and the one of his like programmers, they were like, "Oh yeah, let's make a catchphrase. Ready? 3, 2, 1, get back to work!" Like, I almost spit out my drink because the writing was just great. So yeah, that's me. It's good.
Okay.
I did laugh hard when the dude was like, I do 3 things. I kick butt. I placeholder here and a third thing.
Yeah.
Third thing here.
Yeah.
Well, as they said, okay, we're all ready to get fired. Upload.
Yep.
So, yeah, and as Steve says, yeah, there were parts of this that were not very Disney. It was not originally Disney. It was a 20th century. It's 20th century. So it was still done originally under the old Fox. I will say, great throwback. Still seeing Alex Trebek. So that was kind of a neat thing. This was made as you can see. This was made when he was still alive. So it just would not get released. Was the problem?
Well, right. It was made pre-COVID and then was delayed for a year, like a lot of movies were. So it was around for a little while. And in that time, Disney bought Fox, and you can kind of tell that at the end there, Disney was like, well, we could put this in there. that was kind of the whole Captain America Shield thing, I think came about from Disney purchasing them.
Right. I also do know though that they could have used the Star Wars stuff beforehand though, because that was still Fox stuff. Except it wasn't. It was Disney. Anyway, but so okay, at the end, there are 2 video games, and the gamers and the people who what would you enjoy playing? Would you rather play Free City, which was the go around, kill everybody, you level up by, being the bad guy, 99% of the people anyway, or Free Life, which is basically where you go around and you watch the game and you interact just a little bit, but it's mostly just sitting and watching. So, Pete, I'm actually going to start with you on this one. Which would you rather play?
I would actually say I would probably rather play Free City. I am not a good open world gamer. I tend to like my gaming, and both of these games are very open world, but like it looks like Free City has actual like assignments or tasks, missions, right? And I'm just not a wander around in a video game looking for stuff to do. I much prefer linear storytelling, and that's probably my age showing with video games. So I would probably rather, even though it's less brainy or whatever, I would rather play Free City, and I would totally be the guy that was like, running over the NPCs with my car.
Fair enough.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah. Oh, see, I totally see it. I totally see it. For me, the whole first person shooter stuff has never been my thing at all. It's and a lot, or I'm not into Grand Theft Auto. I'm not into any of those kind of games. So for me, it's definitely Free Life. It's especially as the characters keep getting more and more sentient, so you don't actually know what they're gonna do. It is really, as the characters are developed, it's um much different than the sitcom. Or it's not that much different than sitting and watching a sitcom. You find people you like, you sit and watch them. So to me, that could be really interesting. I don't really care about the politics of the companies, so for me, definitely Free Life. Kate?
Yeah. So I think I this is hard because I play both of these types of games quite literally. Um but I think for me, I'm a little bit like Pete in the fact that yes, while yes, I can play an open world game and many of the games that I do play are open world, I think mentally I do better when you tell me what to do and then I do it. Like when I have a plan. Um, I can play games like Uncharted or Assassin's Creed where it is open world, but there's also like a storyline. But knowing me, and I definitely learned this about me this weekend where I was instead of being at a job I was doing, instead of being told this is your job, da, 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 they were told just go help people, and I was like, I don't know, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to do, because it's like too many options. I function best when you give me a job, I know how to do that job, and I do that job well, instead of go be all things to all people and do them mediocrely. So I think I would be Free City.
Okay. Gina says she's a Sims person, so Free Life 100%. I'm more of grew up on the original Sim City, so to me it's kind of a little bit of a combination of both. You have certain missions you have to keep the people happy, but at the same time you can kind of design stuff how you want.
But
Mary, go ahead.
but I would agree that like the Free Life synonym, real life synonym would probably be a Sim City type
Yeah.
thing where you don't really have missions. I mean, there are things you can do, I guess, to gain experience or whatever. But yeah, I don't like, even like my daughter. I played Red Dead Redemption, which is a very open world, but does have somewhat of a linear storyline. It wasn't linear enough for me, so
Okay.
I think even like Grand Theft Auto and those are too open world, and I need
so even Free City might be too open world for you.
it might be, yeah. It's hard to say, but of the two, I think the Free City would be more what I would want to play than just sit around and watch people do stuff.
Yeah, Marianne says she's a Free Life. Her daughter says she's Free Life too. Pete says Pete is GoldenEye. Wow, there's a throwback. There's
Wow.
I never played it, but it sounds, yes, I agree.
Oh, it's a great game.
Oh,
Great
it's
game.
great,
You basically
except
it was
made
a
me
first person
nauseous.
James Bond.
It made me
No, I
motion
know
sick.
what it is. There was a period in my life where I didn't play video games, and that was during it. So
Okay. I'm sorry, Kate, what did you
So I
say
missed
about it?
So I try to steer clear from any first person
Uh-huh.
game, first person shooter, anything, because I get motion sick when
Yeah.
I play them. And
Okay.
GoldenEye, I can remember getting very motion sick just watching a friend of mine play it.
Especially because it was basically like the first
Correct.
person, one of the first person shooters. It was
Correct.
was it an N64 game?
Yes.
Maybe. Yeah. So you had the
Yep.
little joystick, that horrible N64 controller.
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible.
Yep.
So, as we always do, how many cups of pixie dust are you going to rate it? Kate?
2.5.
So again, I was talking with my wife, and I was flip-flopping between a 3 and a 3.5, and I settled on a 3. I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay.
Derek?
I'm at a 1.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's not the worst stuff we've watched, but if it is on, I will go in the other room.
See, I guess I think of one. I think of one as the lowest. I guess we're allowed to give
me,
0.
I no 0.5s. I've given some
Okay.
stuff. But it's one of those. Yeah, if this is on, I will go in the other room.
Wow.
So, Steve
Jeez.
says Steve's at 2.5. Marianne's at a 4. Gina's at a 3. Nick gave it a 4. Steve, I hope you'll talk some intelligence into him a little bit. But anyway, but guys, again, that's why this is so great, is because people can love stuff and people can hate stuff, and we can talk about it. And
That's why we're here.
yeah, and that's definitely why we need the audience here, and that's why we need more of you to show up, to more people tell me how I'm wrong. So,
All right.
Derek, I feel like I agree with you more times than not.
You do.
I feel like I agree with you quite a bit.
I never agree with Derek.
Oh, but, yeah, well,
rarely. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. The other thing we watched this week, and I know Kate was super excited about this one. Yeah, and based on the face she's making, it's kind of So, Kate was a huge fan of the original Proud Family show, and this week they came out with the Proud Family Louder and Prouder. Kate, was it worth revisiting the Proud Family?
No. No. It was not. And I was so excited for it. I really enjoyed the original Proud Family because the original I got to figure out how to say this. It wasn't forced. But then again, I was so much younger when I watched it. Like I was a kid when I watched Proud Family. Gina said, I only liked the cast that came back. Agreed. Some of the voice acting was like, some of it was so good, but it was very, very forced. Very, very forced humor, very forced. I don't know if Ebonics is the word I want, or like, what's the word I want? Very forced, like trying to be hip with the lingo of this generation. Ebonics isn't the word I want. It's
Ebonics is not the word you want.
No.
Ebonics is not the word anybody wants, but it tried too hard.
It was trying too hard, I think, is what
trying too hard. Okay. Because I think the word Ebonics means something different than it does. So let's scratch that whole
part.
But
it's not
anyway, no, it was trying so hard to use all of the words that the hip kids are using nowadays, and to it was so forced, and they didn't use the original theme song, which I did not like. They like tried so sorry. They tried this revamped version of it and it didn't work, and it wasn't it for me. I won't watch any more of it. So, Pete, you go. And I'm so sorry that I made us all watch it.
No, I think this is a tough. It's a bit of a tough show to review, especially for me, because I missed the original show. I was old enough that I wasn't watching those type of cartoons, and then my daughter was not born yet, so by the time she was watching that stuff, she just kind of missed that window, because she watched Kim Possible, which is only a couple years after this.
Correct.
So I watched the show not having ever seen the original. I recognized a couple characters from ads and things like that, but I'd never seen the original. And I was kind of like, this show is not for me. It's just, it's not a show that, in my view, is particularly directed at adults. And, it didn't have, like some animated shows have humor that brings adults in as well as kids. I didn't think this had that at all. I didn't think it was particularly funny. As you say, you could tell there was stuff that they were trying to bring the original show in, but like skip ahead a few years, it seemed like, right? That the teenage girl was an older teenage girl or something. But it's not, I don't know. It didn't work for me. I would not watch it again. There's probably people that would like it out there. I think probably it's a show that's definitely meant for younger, probably preteen type age, if anything, that might enjoy it. But as I said, it didn't work for me. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I'm saying that, acknowledging that I'm not the target audience. I tried watching this multiple times. This is the first thing we have ever watched. I could not finish an episode. I could not finish it. It was too much with them yelling at each other. It was so disjointed. It's a hard no for me. Pete, I think you're on track. I think the 12 to 13-year-old girl is probably your target audience, at least from episode 1, and Kate, you can talk. I don't know what the audience was for the original, but this was not.
It was that young middle school to low high school, middle school.
And I will add in, I will add in that if that was the voice of Cedric the Entertainer, his voice has not aged well. So
the only other thing that I had an issue with was, especially in the first episode, there was a lot of body shaming. A lot of body shaming.
A lot.
A lot of body shaming.
A lot of body shaming. And I'm really not cool with that. And I get it, that I understand that, like, that is something that kids deal with. That is something that female identifying teens deal with. But that was really hard for me. It wasn't when the girl had the hoodie and she had like her hair and pimples and stuff, and instead of her friend saying, no, like, you're beautiful, stop it, like, we will help you, but you need to feel beautiful, you are beautiful, it was, ew, what's wrong with you, ew. And like, I work so hard to not ever let my friends talk about themselves that way, that like that was really like, that was because that happened right away in the first episode. And as soon as that happened, I was like, uh-oh, because I thought for sure Penny Proud was going to be like, girl, don't you listen to them. You're beautiful. Like, we will do what we need to do for you to feel beautiful, but you already are. And instead she was like, ew, what's wrong with you? And it's like, oh, no. No.
That is the point where I shut it off. That's the point where I could not watch anymore.
I had a pretty big issue with that.
Yeah. Steve did say the second episode was better than the first. Then why did they show the first episode? I mean, he's seen a small segment of the original version. This version is not his cup of tea. Yeah, and I'm assuming this goes with you, Kate. Ugh, no way. It's 2022. Body shaming needs to move on. Bad call, Disney. Bad call. I would say bad call to the writers and producers. I would say, because I'm sure the higher ups at Disney had no idea what was going out in this show. To be perfectly honest, it's a show that's being released direct to Disney Plus, which I understand is where they're sending a lot of their shows now. They're sending the more high end shows to Disney Plus than they are to the Disney Channel. Which, don't get me started on that one. But and so many others, so many people are commenting in that they liked the original. Gina says she liked the original. Mary,
the original was great.
Gina does say, unfortunately, it's not for anyone. Don't think the second graders got it. Gina, I'm assuming you showed it to your second graders in the classroom, and I can see her in the background, and she's nodding, and they didn't get it. So,
second grade's young for it.
Second grade's too young, and I would say freshman's too old. So it's
a middle school show.
It's a middle school show, and it's not a good middle school show. Because, well, anyway, there were not a lot of positive characters in at least the first part of episode 1.
I did like CeeLo as the panda. I'll say that. You probably didn't get that far, Derek, but I
did not get that far.
I did. It was great.
I skipped ahead and saw it a little bit, and it didn't redeem the rest of the episode.
No, but like that's it. It made me it like he sang a song too, and I was like, why is there not more CeeLo? Is all I could think. I was like, why doesn't he? Why don't I know more CeeLo music? He does not. He's not
because
around really.
most of it they couldn't play on Disney Plus.
Well, yeah, I know, I understand that, but I'm just like I don't hear much from him. But anyways,
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so we've kind of agreed that we pretty much panned. Don't go back and revisit the Proud Family.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a really big fan, maybe try the second episode, but like
skip episode 1.
Yeah, and I would also agree with that. I wouldn't bother with episode 1.
You know what? Best case scenario, go back and watch the original.
Yeah, they're all on Disney Plus, so
go back and watch the original.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are on Disney Plus, next week we are going to be joined by Matt and Matt of the Matt and Matt TCM Challenge, and we are going to be watching The Black Hole. I will admit, this is a Disney movie I have never seen.
I've never heard of it.
So, never heard of it. Looking at some of the stuff about it, I'm anticipating interesting reviews, but
so we're cross-pollinating with the Matt and Matt TCM Challenge. Their podcast, they only broadcast once a month, and they basically pick a random movie from Turner Classic Movies, and they go deep dive into it, much more deep than we do. And so at least one of us is going to appear on one of their shows coming up, and they're going to join us for this. They picked The Black Hole. It essentially was Disney's answer to Star Wars. So if that tempts you into wanting to watch it, maybe it does. Because Tron was a similar time frame. Black Hole was first, though. I think Black Hole was really, it's got robots, it's in space. I'm not going to say what I think of it.
Fair enough.
And I haven't seen the whole thing either, but so I'm looking forward to watching it and talking about it next week with some different people.
Yeah.
So
Marianne, can we watch Turning Red next? So excited for this. That's going to be in 3 weeks. Okay. I know it comes out on, I believe, the 11th.
Yeah.
But the show we're going to have after that is our anniversary show in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing The Lion King. And that's the original animated Lion King. And there's going to be some trouble happening here. So, because, yeah, I will be live. I will be live from Animal Kingdom Lodge. So that's part of the reason we have talked about, we're going to do Lion King is because it fits in. Yuck. Marianne, really?
Yuck?
Oh, yuck?
Oh, come on.
Oh, come
Marianne.
on. Seriously? Okay.
Not the live action one.
Not the live action one.
No.
No.
The original
animated one. So, with that being said, guys, if you have other suggestions, Marianne, apparently you don't like Lion King. We'd like your Turning Red suggestion, but everyone else, give us suggestions, give us thoughts. Also, please go to our Facebook page, and I'll repost it. But we have a survey on there. We really want to hear what you guys think of our show. What would you change? We've got some fairly specific questions on there. So go on. Please let us know what you think. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. We are on all of the major podcast platforms. Next week, there will not be trivia for Black Hole because nobody's seen it. In 2 weeks, there will definitely be Lion King trivia. Yes, ma'am.
Is asking for the audience, is the survey anonymous?
It has an email address on there, but I will go, if that's a holdback for some of you, I will go on and make that an optional.
No. I just wanted to say, you all can be really honest on that survey.
Please.
We want you to be really honest on that survey.
You're not going to hurt our feelings at all. Look, guys, guys, I teach high school special ed. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I would also like to add, if there is an extra session, I would like for you to put in who your favorite platooner is and why is it Kate? You're welcome. Back to you, Derek.
And my feelings are actually hurt quite easily. So,
Well, that's okay, because I'll be the one looking at the stuff first. So, and Steve says, where's the survey located again? It is on the Plus Platoon Facebook page. I will bump it up to the top. So it will be the first thing you see there. Give me about 15, 20 minutes to get it there. But other than that, guys, next week we are watching The Black Hole. So I think everybody has homework to do on that one. And then in 2 weeks will be our anniversary show live from Animal Kingdom Lodge, where we will be doing Lion King with trivia. And with that, I think we're ready to say goodnight. So, good night, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
night.
Thanks for watching this week's episode of the Plus Platoon. Be sure to subscribe to the Plus Platoon podcast to keep getting great content each week. Then head over to Apple Podcast and leave those 5-star reviews, as they help make the Plus Platoon visible to even more Disney Plus fans. Also, go to YouTube and like and subscribe to the Plus Platoon channel, where you can watch all future episodes live. If you have a question for the Plus Platoon, please send us an email to plusplatoon@gmail.com or connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram @plusplatoon.
The Plus Platoon is a Disney Plus fan podcast and is not affiliated with the Walt Disney Company or the Disney Plus streaming service. All opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the individual hosts and in no way reflect the views of the Walt Disney Company.
Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for next week's episode, because the Plus Platoon is to be continued.